Hi! Welcome to this part of my review featuring Runecairn, Wardensaga. If you haven't seen the other parts of my review, featuring this Dark Souls style Norse saga inspired role-playing game that you can play with other people or as a solo role-playing game, please check out the playlist in the description below. This time we are going to talk about the concepts of play and items and equipment. We start with resilience in concepts of play. Resilience is the ability to avoid damage in combat, representing your personal drive, toughness, instinct, and survivability. Resilience is calculated by adding two stats, vigor and vitality. Damage reduces your resilience, and drinking mead or resting at a bonfire restores it. If an attack takes your resilience exactly to 0, you roll on the Omens table. And remember, if some things are not clear, we will talk about combat in a future part of this review. When it comes to defense, before calculating damage to resilience, you subtract the target's defense value from the result of physical damage rolls. Shields and similar armor provide a bonus, but only while the item is held or worn. Magic bypasses mundane armor. Defense doesn't reduce magical damage. Wearing heavy armor weighs you down. If you are wearing bulky armor, you make all dexterity saves at a disadvantage due to the cumbersome nature. When it comes to your inventory, you start with 10 inventory slots. Most items take up 1 slot, and small items don't take up any slots. Bulky items take up 2 slots and are two-handed or awkward to carry. Anyone with a full inventory is reduced to 0 resilience. This perfectly expresses that concept of Dark Souls, that you have stamina and you can't just be rolling around and attacking like crazy. You need to put some thought into things. You can't carry more items than your inventory allows. Let's talk about saves. A save is a roll to avoid bad outcomes from risky choices and circumstances. You roll a d20 for an appropriate ability score. If you roll equal to or under that ability score, you pass. Otherwise, you fail. A 1 is always a success, and a 20 is always a failure. In some situations, saves are made with a bonus, that is an advantage, or a penalty, which is a disadvantage. In those cases, you roll 2 20-sided dice. You take the lower result for advantage and the higher result for disadvantage. Concerning mead, flask, and healing, filled with mead brewed by the gods, and infused with the Edon's everlasting apples, sipping this mead restores health and heals injuries. 1 sip takes an action and restores 10 resilience and clears 2 points of fatigue. The flask is replenished when resting at a bonfire. So as you can see, this is based on the Estus flask of Dark Souls. You start with 2 sips. The amount of mead in the flask can be increased under the right circumstances. Your mead flask does not take up any inventory slots. Now let's talk about status effects. You have Cursed. Resilience is halved until the curse is lifted or otherwise dispelled. You have Deprived. You can't recover resilience or take reactions until you rest at a bonfire. There's also Poisoned. You take damage every turn, bypassing defense. A successful strength save or resting at a bonfire cleanses the poison. When it comes to Fatigue, your actions and items weigh heavily on you, and fatigue can easily overwhelm you. Fatigue is caused by casting spells, using certain skills, and rare monster abilities. Each fatigue occupies 1 inventory slot and lasts until the adventurer rests at a bonfire. When it comes to clearing fatigue, during a moment of calm, you can spend 1 soul to clear 1d4 points of fatigue. You can also attempt to clear fatigue through introspection, such as reflecting on your ancestors, meditating in nature, or singing a song to lift your spirits. You roll 1d6 and compare the result to your current vigor score. If you roll under, which is a success, you clear that many points of fatigue. If you roll over, which is a failure, you lose 1 point of vigor. You can attempt to clear fatigue in this manner once per day. Concerning bonfires, they link the 9 realms and offer a beacon of hope to souls lost in the dark. Resting at a bonfire restores all lost resilience, clears all fatigue from your inventory, and resets ability score loss. Resting at a bonfire also causes most slain foes to return to life. Powerful or intelligent foes, such as gods, Jotun, or dragons, are not reborn in this manner and remain dead when defeated. When resting at a bonfire, you can choose to spend souls to grow your power. Concerning death, prepare to die often. Upon death, you wake at the last bonfire rested at with all your current items. You lose 1 point of total vigor for every death. If your total vigor reaches 0, your adventurer is forever lost to the darkness. 1 point of vigor can be restored by a full day communing with a skald or by burning a sacrificial bundle at a bonfire. Concerning souls, the might of the gods has been scattered across the 9 realms. Fragments of this power exist as soul remnants, energy manifested and crystallized into physical form. You may discover soul remnants in hidden and secret places, in areas of great power, or under the watch of fearsome guardians. Soul remnants are small and take up no inventory space. Powerful beings such as Jotun, dragons, or demons may also be imbued with the scattered essence of the gods. Overcoming these foes, through combat or other means, grants you the ephemeral slivers of this power, souls. Breaking a soul remnant will imbue you with the souls held within. Souls are delicate and are discarded when you die. You have 1 chance to recover dropped souls after you wake up at the bonfire, die again before retrieving them, and they are lost forever. I love the Dark Souls references scattered throughout the book. When it comes to spending souls, as souls represent the innate power of the gods, you can absorb this power to grow stronger. When resting at a bonfire, you can focus on the imbued power and enhance your might. While resting, you spend 1 soul to permanently increase one of the following attributes: strength, dexterity, wits, spirit, or vitality. Rare merchants and travelers trade in souls, and you can barter for goods and services with soul remnants. Certain spells or relics can also coalesce soul remnants from imbued souls. When it comes to wealth and treasure, gold and most coins have little value and most trade is through barter. Treasure takes the form of weapons, armor, spells, or relics. It can be a lure, taking adventurers to exotic and even dangerous locations, and is often under the protection of intimidating foes. Let's talk about items and equipment. There is a variety of suits of armor, weapons, gear, and they all come with descriptions. Let me read some of these descriptions to you. There is chainmail, heavy mail shirt made up of riveted rings worn over thick clothing. You also have reindeer hide, cured and toughened leather hide, a symbol of wealth and status. There's also the laced iron plate, small iron plates laced together over a leather shirt. When it comes to shields, you have bucklers. These are small leather-wrapped shields used to protect the weapon hand. You also have the kite shield, large almond-shaped shield made from wood and iron. When it comes to weapons, you have things such as the bearded axe, wrought iron head with hooked steel cutting edge attached to an oak shaft. There's also the broad axe, which is a longer version of the bearded axe held with 2 hands and requiring great strength. You also have the grave sword, long, wide, double-edged blade held with 2 hands, unusual design, extremely heavy. There's also the elm longbow, long curved bow made from elm wood, tied with strong flax. You also have the yew staff, long curved wooden staff carved with intricate runes and figures. These pieces of equipment come with skills. Let me read some of these skills to you. There is Frenzy. The ferocity of your attack staggers your opponent. Non-undead targets need to make a spirit save or falter momentarily. allowing you to make an extra attack. There is also block, which is a reaction. You raise your shield to block an incoming attack. Then you have cleave. Deliver a devastating sweeping attack. If it's a success, you strike your target for double damage. If it's a failure, it results in a retaliatory attack from the target at double damage. You can make a follow-up with Dire Strike, making an extra attack against the nearest target within 10 feet. There is also Rage. Call upon your animal spirit, which imbues you with bestial strength. For 1d4 rounds, gain 3 defense, and make all melee attacks at double damage. When the rage ends, you make a spirit save. You can actually choose to fail. If it's a success, the animal spirit departs and you regain control. If it's a failure, the beast takes control. You lose 1 spirit and continue to rage with a 50% chance to attack friendly targets. These are just some of the skills, and they all cost fatigue, so you can't be using them all the time. Let's talk about some other types of items, such as dried apples. A slice of one of Idun's apples, dried in the sun. Eating one clears 1 point of fatigue. You also have the Beast Stone, crudely chiseled from black stone in the form of a bear or a wolf. Calling upon the spirit of the animal imbues you with bestial rage. There are also Sacred Waters, water from the Well of Fate. Drink to regain 8 resilience, or throw to cause 1d10 of blast damage to undead. There is also the Sacred Stockfish, dried cod, fished from a sacred river. Eat to restore 1 point of spirit, or feed to a wild animal to befriend them until sunset. There are many other things that you can acquire, such as lanterns, nets, picks, poles, sacks, skeleton keys, spikes. And this concludes this part of the review. In the next part we are going to talk about combat and spells. I really like the Dark Souls references. You have fatigue, you have the Estus flask, so you can't be moving about quite foolishly. You need to time your attacks, employ strategies and tactics. When it comes to healing, it is quite limited, as you can see. You depend on your mid to heal yourself, just like in Dark Souls, when you depend on the Estus flask. Concerning your gear, your equipment, weapons, etc., it's quite fun that each one of those tools has its own special skills and qualities. That adds to the customization of your character. You are going to feel the difference when employing one weapon or another weapon that is considerably different when it comes to length, weight, etc. I also like the consistency of how all of these weapons and items and equipment, they all follow this Norse saga theme. They feel unique to this role-playing game. Thank you for watching this part of the review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that have been supporting the channel by sending drive-thru RPG gift certificates. If anyone else wants to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. Once again, thank you, and see you later.